me say hello, as always, to Sean Custis. How are you, Sean?
Good, Dan.
Thank you very much for joining us. And also Dominic King, as I say, from the Daily Mail. I have to say these words, Dom, safely returned from the Champions League final.
Yes, safely in situ. Yeah, I'm all right, not too bad.
Well, I'll be trying to get your views about what went on. Let me just remind everyone. We will get round to the football, of course, and we had exactly the same running order on Trans-Europe Express last night when we started with the events, sadly, away from the rectangle of grass. The showpiece game of European club football, I'll rephrase that, the showpiece game of world football was overshadowed by chaos outside the Stade de France, thousands of fans locked out of the stadium and their safety put in danger.
We've got a bit of breaking news in the stadium. It says due to the late arrival of fans at the stadium, then the match has been delayed. Our producer Declan McCarthy has been outside the stadium speaking to fans. Let's hear from another one.
Yes, thank you, Adrian. You joined me just outside the stadium.
Tear gas because a load of French guys were trying to get in, so the French police reacted in that way by tear gassing fans on both sides. I've been to the stadium 3 times to watch the rugby. Never experienced this. And the crush, let's face it, stands in our history. This is outrageous.
It's said on the screen again, it's saying it right now, due to the late arrival of fans. That's complete misinformation. That is wrong to put that there.
Yes, back outside the stadium, Adrian. A visibly shaken Liverpool fan in front of me. Firstly, sir, can you just introduce yourself and just explain to us what it's like out there?
My name's Jamie. I came to the ground in adequate time. Came over the bridge. Everything was fine. Came with my brother. Obviously, I'm not here with my brother now, so I've lost him. Don't know if he's getting into the game or not. Absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. There is no organisation. Police are pepper spraying everyone. There's Hillsborough-like crowds at the gates. I don't actually want to go in and watch the Champions League final anymore.
I've got a 9-year-old boy with me now. He can't stop crying and he's physically shaking. Even when we were leaving the game, they were being over-aggressive and everyone started running when they were throwing tear gas again. I've got a 9-year-old boy. Listen, his mum's not going to let me take him another game again.
I mean, I sat there watching the television screen, and as it became clear that something was going on, and as we saw so few actual images of it, I started to bite my lip. I did, and once again, tune into talkSPORT, where I heard Declan McCarthy's really, really excellent first-hand reporting of the events. Let me just give you some of the headlines. We're doing this for a little while, so we've got plenty of time to get through all of the views. Families sat Paris... Families of Paris, echoes of Hillsborough. Front page of The Guardian. Liverpool victims of UEFA lies. Front page Daily Telegraph sports section. Attempt to blame fans as disgrace. Jamie Carragher's column in the same newspaper. Night from hell. Brutal policing and stewards blasted. Reds rage. Robbo on shambles in Paris. At the back page of the Daily Mirror. The cops panicked and UEFA adjusted disgrace. On and on it went, the game supplement in the Times. UEFA's shame. Liverpool fans were treated inhumanly and get tear-gassed and then blamed. Among those who were trying to push back against this narrative, and don't forget, and I'm not prejudging the issue, but I will say this. The echoes, and of course, thankfully nobody was killed, the echoes of Hillsborough, where the authorities immediately set up a story from which it took 20-plus years of determined grisly journalism to unravel the veil of lies that they set up. This has echoes of this to me straight away. I'd say Declan McCarthy, talkSPORT producer, was out there and didn't see the things that were now being reported by the French authorities. Carve Solicol from Sky did some terrific reporting. Same story with him. Same with Melissa Reddy from Sky. Steve Rotherham, MP. Ian Byrne, MP. But we're lucky tonight, and I don't know if that's the right word to use, is that Dominic King, who's our guest from the Daily Mail, and Dominic was booked before this, I should say. This is not some kind of agenda, to use the modern words. Dominic, I say I don't want to prejudge issues, but I do want to avoid one side of the story just getting traction. Tell me about your experience at the stadium for the Champions League final.
I will do, Danny. I'm fortunate, is the word here, to have this platform. I'm on a national radio station that goes global, and I'm going to give you a faithful and accurate account of everything that I've seen. And the first place I want to start, because people will be expecting me to talk about Liverpool first of all, I want to talk about the Real Madrid fans. because I came to the stadium with them basically from the side of the stadium that they were being ushered into. It was from the metro station on line 13. We came through an underpass because the stadium is quite close to a motorway. It's like very sort of narrow paths, and it just didn't feel right as soon as we came out of the metro station. Up a set of stairs, and there was a build up of people. This is at 6:30, so this is 2.5 hours before. There was a perimeter fence, a very, very flimsy perimeter fence, the kind that you see at gigs, just to sort of separate people. It was bent, and it was out of shape, and it had been put that way from the weight of people leaning on it. There was insufficient ticket checks. There was insufficient numbers of people there, and you knew then that there was going to be problems. You were going to hear stories later on of problems. So that's 6:30. I got into the stadium. An hour later, we heard reports that there was things going on outside. So I went out to have a look. I was by gates S, T, and U. From right, U was the VIP entrance, and there was an almighty sort of kerfuffle of people trying to get in, poor ticket checks, poor everything. Outside gate T, there was some people trying to get in. Now it's being framed that it was Liverpool fans barging through gates and things like that. Yes, there were the odd one or two who tried to get in. You'd get that everywhere. It's sad to say, but you would get it every major final. There's people desperate to get in. The bulk of the people who were trying to get through the security cordons were local youths. I'm not just saying this. Don't just take my word for it. There's plenty of other reports of that who would corroborate what I'm saying. When people did get through the cordon, they were wrestled to the floor by security guards and set upon, basically. And there was a reporter, Steve Douglas from Associated Press, who took a video of one such incident. He was then pursued by one of the security guards, dragged into a room, had his accreditation ripped off him and his phone taken off him, and they wouldn't let him go until he deleted the footage of what he's seen of a Liverpool fan being set upon by a security guard. So that you knew then that the situation was escalating. I went over to see a UEFA official and told him, I pointed to what was going on and said, these people are not going to be in at the time. He didn't know what to say to me. He could see that there was, he was helpless. He was in a situation, like just impossible he couldn't do anything. He didn't have the power to do anything. Went back inside and I've heard the announcement about what UEFA had pumped out about fans turning up without tickets.
The late arrival, yeah.
Yeah, and that was an absolute outrage, a disgrace. It had been put out without any checking, any verification. It was done to set a narrative. We went back outside and there was a few of us. Among them, Jason Bear from The Telegraph, Mark Ogden from ESPN, Henry Winter was with us. There's a couple of other people were around the spot. Some photographers. They were taking pictures of. Now we were at Gate Y, which was, if you can imagine looking at the TV footage you've seen of the game. Gate Y was directly behind the goal that Liverpool were attacking in the second half, where their fans were. Gate Y was closed, and no reason had been given to the supporters. And the panic that they were feeling, and they hadn't been told at this stage that the game had been put back. So they're outside 20 minutes before the kick-off in a state of panic. Some have paid thousands and thousands of pounds to be there, wondering what's going to go on, whether they're actually going to get in. So they were then concerned that the photographs were being taken and whether it was going to be framed that Liverpool fans were causing trouble, when it wasn't. There was people within that group that I've seen in this job, being around going around Europe with them, that are just football lovers, there to have a good time, to enjoy the situation. They wouldn't cause any kind of trouble. There was women with kids. There was grandparents. So when again, a few of us went to speak to them to try and find out. We were trying to help them, try and allay any fears, or do our best in an impossible situation. And then the next thing, the pepper spray and the tear gas came out. And I know it was an incident that sort of took me by surprise, really, because I was trying to speak to someone, and the best way I can explain it is that I felt like I'd swallowed a fly, and I started coughing, but then it was like the cough became worse, and eyes were streaming and whatever, and it was just an absolutely horrific set of circumstances. I never thought that I would be in a worse situation at a football match in this day and age than last summer at the European Championships final, at the European Championship finals. This was worse. This was far worse because of the brutality of the overzealous nature of the police, the lies that have been put out since, and the fear. And we'll talk again.
Dom,
thank you very much for that.
Can I just ask Dom?
Please,
Dom,
please, yeah.
At the Euros, a lot of blame was put on the fact that there was not enough police. There was stewards who you say weren't paid very much, who aren't going to try to organise things. Here it's too many police, being heavy-handed in that. What is the answer? Where is the balance in that regard, do you think?
Let me just go back to Madrid 2 years ago. So you've got two English clubs. Potentially, if people looking at it could say that could be a flashpoint, two English clubs together. There wasn't a thing. Not a moment's problem. Anybody who travelled to the stadium that day had to show the police when they were coming out of Wanda Metropolitano tube station. They had to show the police they had a ticket. Otherwise, you just weren't getting on. It was the same in town. Yes, the police were overzealous at times. We know Spanish police can be that way, but that's, to my knowledge, maybe people will contact us tonight and tell us different, but to my knowledge, that final went without an issue. I didn't see anything here from the police in terms of trying to help, in terms of trying to organise things. Certainly didn't see anything from the stewards, and this is what it's led to.